PR. We want to say thank you for coming and welcome to the 2019 Socratic Dialogue, which is hosted by PR Case Studies. We'll have the students kind of raise their hand if you're a part of that. All right, here we go. So every year we put on an event called Socratic Dialogue, and it focuses on a hard-hitting issue that impacts our community. And this year the topic has to do with college affordability. So we're very fortunate to have some guest speakers. If you have not already done so, please help yourself to some food. And we will get started. The talk will probably go until about 2:30, and then at that point we have plenty of time to mix and mingle. We have resource tables in the back, which are manned by members of the Affordability Task Force. They can raise their hands too, as well as members of financial aid who are happy to answer any questions and sort of keep that dialogue going. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our student presenters, and then we'll invite our guest speakers after that.
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Hain.
My name is Justine Delacruz.
My name is Nicole Munn.
And my name is Brittany Turton. So we're going to start off with a video, and this video is from CNBC. It's Why College is So Expensive in America.
College in America. It's 4 years of all-nighters, cake stands, ethnically diverse welcome brochures, Pinterest-perfect dorm rooms, and crushing student debt.
I have $16,812.
$47,000.
$90,000. $35,000.
$350,000.
6 months. My minimum student loan payment is $1,000 a month. It should take me about 10 years to pay that back.
I will be roughly 36.
45 years old.
I don't know how old I'll be when I pay that off.
So if you have any thoughts or comments that you'd like to add about the video, just save them and then we'll readdress the video momentarily. So the purpose of this event is to engage in dialogue between faculty and students about paying for tuition during and after college. This event allows participants the opportunity to learn from faculty and students, as well as outside professionals who interact with this topic daily. So we will review national college tuition statistics, examine the limitations of loans, discuss the drawbacks of FAFSA, and explore some of Rowan's financial assistance options, and then we're going to end with a Q&A session with our guest speakers.
So to compare college affordability in the past and present, according to the USC Roger, a college student in the 1960s and 70s was able to work 10 hours a week during the school year and 35 hours a week in the summer on a minimum wage salary and be able to cover tuition and room and board at his or her university. Today, a college student could work the same amount on a minimum wage salary and would only be able to cover 1/3 of the cost. The difference is due to the increase in cost of attendance and a decrease in minimum wage. To put higher education for lower income and middle income students into perspective, according to the IHEP, 70% of colleges are unaffordable for lower and middle income students. More than half of these students have to take out loans because they can't afford tuition. Of the 70% that take out loans, the average amount owed is $40,000 by federal student loan borrowers, according to Forbes.
So what is that impact? Of 80% of the participants in that survey, 80% had the average of $87,500 in student loan debt versus the annual income of only $60,000. So as a result, their loan debt prevented them from saving from retirement. Also, 59% that they couldn't said that they couldn't make large purchases because of their student loan debt. 56% said that they couldn't buy a home. 86% of respondents said that student loan debt was their #1 cause of stress, and 65% said that their student loan debt was bigger than their own food budgets. Also, 56% that said that their student loan bills were more than their health insurance. So Rowan does offer a variety of financial aid assistance for transfer students, undergrad students, and graduate students as well. It also offers the EOF program as well as RISE. It's for students who are academically ready for college but may not be financially ready. as well as our president of our university, President Richmond. He has a program where he has his own hot sauce, and he sells his hazardous hot sauce, and all the proceeds go towards scholarship funds, and that's over $30 million worth of proceeds.
So today we will hear from Dr. Sean Hendricks, Director of the Office of Academic Transition and Support Programs, Dr. Wolfenstein, Professor in Accounting and Finance, Dr. McPherson Myers, the Associate Vice President for Diversity and Organizational Effectiveness, and Dr. Roy McElney, Vice President for Enrollment and Student Success. Our student guest speakers are Arbery Singleton, SGA President, and Brittany Turton, Public Relations and Advertising Major. Thank you again to all the guest speakers who were able to attend today.
So we'll invite our guest speakers to come on up and look at our students. All right, it looks like Arbery is not here yet, but we'll give them all the hard questions when we get here. Save those. So I thought we would start off, and most of the students in here came prepared with questions to ask today, but I'll start off with my question, which is just give your own background about college affordability and some of the things that maybe you've done here on campus to address the issue. We can start with Dr. McElney.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here this afternoon. I'm Rowan University, Vice President for Enrollment and Student Success. Before that, I was a professor in the psychology department here at Rowan since 2003. So I've been here a long time and seen a lot of change at Rowan, and I can say that Rowan really is committed to college affordability as much as we can be within the current higher ed landscape. I founded the Affordability Task Force. It's 3 years ago now. We just celebrated our third anniversary and moving into year 4, and it's been wonderful to see the engagement from the campus and the outcomes from that.
My name is Daniel Wolfenstein. I teach finance here in the business school. As far as helping students with finances, I teach personal finance. When I teach investments, I certainly stress more of the personal side than the corporate side. I helped develop the Money 101 lecture series that some of you might have seen in the Rowan seminars. And we might touch about it later today. In my personal classes, I tell students to buy older editions of the textbooks because you can often get an edition -1, -2 for maybe $5 or $10, whereas you'll pay $100 or $200 for the most advanced edition that might only change a few info boxes and some problem sets. So I do what I can in my role as a financial.
Alright, so I'm a student guest speaker. My name is Brittany Turton. I'm a transfer from RCGC. Coming to Rowan was a little bit different for me. However, even though I am taking out loans right now, which account for probably 90% of my tuition costs, I do have to say Rowan is pretty affordable, and they do offer a lot of scholarships and programs to help us be able to pay for college. My advice, start saving as soon as you can, because I already have a couple thousand saved up to go back towards my loans. Try and get a job if you can. I know for some of us it's very hard to work and go to school. However, we all do what we can here. My best recommendation is obviously keep going. Keep being optimistic, ask for help, don't be afraid. There's plenty of people here, and you'll learn a lot today as well.
Good afternoon, my name is Penny McPherson Myers, Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, a new division. Prior to my role with the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, several years back, I've been here for 12 years, going on 12 years now. I came in as the EOF director, and I work with students who are under-financed, under-resourced, and have a difficult time paying for college. And so a part of that program supports students in being able to afford college, but also provide support services. I've also been a part of the Affordability Task Force that Dr. McElney mentioned,
And with that area, I focused on food insecurity, and we were able to develop the shop, the food pantry, as well as the Fill Abundance, Fresh for All food service, that free fruit and vegetable service on Fridays from 10 to 11 in Lot C and D. But also, I also help administer the Emergency Assistance Fund. So when there are students who are having financial difficulties that are not related to the cost of tuition or books or anything like that, we try to assist. So maybe your car breaks down and you can't get back and forth to school, or maybe something happened with your apartment, you have a leak and you weren't able to work, and you didn't get enough money to, you didn't get a paycheck this past week, and you needed some funds to assist with covering a leak that is preventing you from coming to class. You would reach out to my office or financial aid, and we assist with that, and that's called emergency assistance. So those are some of the areas. Also, I have 4 children, 2 in college, so affordability with higher ed is very important to me as well, on a personal level.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sean Hendricks, Division of Student Success. First, let me just thank everyone for coming today. This is a really important issue. We're glad to be here to discuss it, take your questions. I know we've had it on our calendar now for a while. We're really looking forward to the day. And to all of the students in the capstone course, and Dr. Novak's capstone course, thank you. This is amazing. The setup with the balloons and the whole thing is really, thank you for your hospitality, it's really great. In terms of this issue, I think this is just near and dear to so many of our hearts. Going through the process as a student, I was a first-gen student, not knowing, what I was getting myself into, the types of resources that were available, kind of how to address certain things in a very timely manner and so on. So I struggled with that. And now having worked in and working in higher ed, I see it as our role. It's so integral to so much of what we do, but it's just such an important topic. I have 2 girls at home, a 5 and an 8-year-old, and seeing they're not that far away. It sounds like it's crazy, but 5 and 8-year-old, and the implications of what all of you are going through, and just looking at it from that lens, I think has been really important for me. So this is an important topic, affordability. For me, I'm also a part of the Affordability Task Force. A couple of things we're looking to do. We have 2 major goals with the task force. One is to raise awareness about certain issues, sometimes referred to as the second tuition. So your books, your housing, your meal, all those things that kind of add up. So we're doing a lot of work there. And just trying to bring down the cost wherever we can. So like Dr. McPherson-Myers said, in terms of providing food assistance, my issues really stem from trying to support different academic issues. So one of the things we've done over the last little while is implement the textbook alternative program, which is designed to really try to tap into faculty members that are interested in reducing the cost of course materials. So we know that one of those second tuition issues is the cost of course materials. So trying to reward faculty members that are also trying to reduce the cost of their textbooks and so on. So there's a lot of different initiatives that we have in place, but there's also this idea of raising awareness. I think if you go to the back of the room, you see a lot of that. Different flyers, different events, different campus-wide things that we have going on to try to, again, just raise awareness and bring this issue forward.
Thank you. All right, we'll open it up to questions from the class and anyone who is here to listen and communicate. Yeah, Michaela.
So I just wanted to know, because I do receive student loans, and I see that there's 2 categories. There's subsidized and unsubsidized loans. And I was just wondering what the difference was between those and what that means for me as a student when having to pay them back.
And I should also point out we have 2 representatives from financial aid here who are also happy to address some of these questions. And this might be one of them, unless someone here would like to answer. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go for it.
So subsidized loans typically do not need to be paid back right away. You have, usually it depends on your loan provider, but a 6 month to 1 year grace period to start paying them back, whereas unsubsidized loans, you have to start paying them back pretty much as soon as you take the loan out. Because I'm doing both right now, so that's why I know. That's why I know.
I do want to clarify that. Both loans, as long as you maintain a half-time enrollment, which is minimum 6 credits, the subsidized loan is not accruing interest while you're in school. So if you have a subsidized loan and you borrow that $3,500, which is that freshman level amount, should you go your 4 years, when you graduate, you'll just owe that $3,500 amount because the government paid the interest while you were in school. Now, if you have the unsubsidized loan, interest is accruing on that loan. Now, you don't pay that loan while you're in school, all right? It'll stay in, you're not in a repayment term, you're just in school, in the deferment. When you graduate, 6 months after you graduate, you get 6 months grace period on your student loans. And then after those 6 months, then you go into repayment. The subsidized loan at that point starts accruing interest in repayment, not while you're in school in that period. The unsubsidized loan, while you were in school, was accruing interest. So now instead of that $2,000 you had your first year, you can know $2,000 plus the interest that accrued over the 4 years, or however long that loan was there. So that's the difference. So with subsidized loans, you have to be eligible for it. Hopefully you are. But the main difference is that while you're in school, the subsidized loan is not accruing interest because the government's paying it. The unsubsidized loan is accruing interest while you're in school. Hope that clarifies that.
How is Rowan supporting international students? In regards to affordability?
So I really don't have an answer because I think that has continuously been a challenge. I'll defer over to our financial aid experts. But I've received requests from international students for additional support specifically through the emergency assistance because of the lack of resources that they were able to provide to be able to help them with supplies or resources for campus. So I think that is a challenge that our international students face.
And just from the financial aid office's point of view, our office typically awards state and federal aid, so many of the international students would not qualify. So I mean, we would really probably get them in touch with the international student department just on funding and scholarship opportunities, because we do manage the state and federal aid ends of it.
And there's a lot of regulations for financial aid, whether it be federal or state. And one of the biggest for the hurdles for them is that they're not citizens or eligible non-citizens, so they wouldn't qualify for some of those grants or scholarship grants or loans that other citizens or non-citizens, eligible non-citizens will be eligible for.
Going back to state and federal aid, can you tell me the difference between the two?
Sure, that's a very good question. So state and federal aid, typically, again, the financial aid office does help students and we administer and manage those funds for the university. But we'll start with the federal government. They do have a free application called the FAFSA that students would need to submit every year. So that's a misconception. You have to do it every year. You do have to reapply. So that's very important. And everything that I'm going over is on the financial aid website in detail. So definitely check there. But basically, federal aid is administered through the federal government. And after students complete that FAFSA, it will let them know and also let the student know what the students qualify for per year. And federal aid can include the Stafford loans, which we just talked about a little bit ago. Those are the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. The government offers Parent Plus loans. Those are loans for your parents to borrow. For dependent students that may not have enough, your parents are eligible to apply for the Parent Plus loans. As well as graduate students. If you're going to graduate or professional school, they also offer a Graduate Plus loan that you can apply for. Those are the government's loans. And then there's also free money, which are the government grants. And those would look like the Pell Grant, the federal Pell Grant, also the federal SEOG grant. So I know a lot of people think financial aid is all free money, but that's another misconception. There are those low interest loans. So if you are taking out loans, we do want you to complete your FAFSA every year so that you can be eligible for those low interest loans. The subsidized loan, which we just discussed, you don't make any payments. The interest is deferred by the government while you're in school. So the government will tell us if the student is eligible for free money. And typically that does go to students with a higher need, so that means their family income is lower. Then on the state side, the state of New Jersey does award grants every year, and that's called the Tuition Aid Grant or the TAG Grant. So you do have to submit your FAFSA every year, and then if you are a New Jersey resident, you also want to hop over to the New Jersey TAG's website that can be found at njgrants.gov. insecuritygrants.org or check our website. And then they usually ask about 2 or 3 questions to qualify students, and they'll let you know, and then also let the school know if you're eligible for a state grant every year. Oh, and just a reminder, any students renewing their federal FAFSA application, they want you to have the FAFSA completed by April 15th to be considered for that state grant. So that's very, very important. All students renewing that FAFSA, make sure you get it done before the 15th. If you have any questions, check our website or meet with us and we can help you through it.
Another point too, just a point of clarification, that when you do the FAFSA and you're a New Jersey student and you put a New Jersey school like Rowan or Rutgers, the state of New Jersey gets those FAFSA results. So that's how New Jersey knows that you're a student in college. But like my colleague said, Brandy, there's additional questions you want to answer at the njgrants.org website.
We saw in the presentation that 70% of students have at least $40,000 or more in debt. How can Rowan adjust its behavior to make higher education more affordable?
One of the, I think there's many ways to answer that question, but one of the things that comes to mind for me has to do with your academic progress. So we know that when it takes students longer than 4 years to graduate, years 5 and 6 is when they really rack up the loans compared to the first part of their education. Monitoring your time to degree, how long are you enrolled in college, is extremely important. At Rowan, your tuition, if you're a regular main campus undergraduate student, your tuition flat rate is 12 to 17 credits. If you take 12 credits every semester, it will take you 5 years to graduate. You need to average 15 credits a semester, or 30 credits per year. That can include summer classes at a community college. You know, it doesn't all have to be at Rowan or exactly 15 credits each semester here. But if you're not averaging 30 credits a year that apply to your degree requirements, and you don't make a change your major very late, that's another thing that can really add a lot of time. Graduating in 4 years is probably the single best way to keep college as affordable as possible once you've made your college selection. And so please go see your academic advisors, please, as well as the many other people who come to work in the many offices at Rowan every day to be able to help you with that. But it is a very big deal to not graduate on time.
There's we've seen creative ways that students have tried to find opportunities to get through college and make it affordable, such as commuting. And I know that's not available for everyone, but it definitely cuts the cost by not paying for housing. Also being an RA, if you have the skills and you do the work,